Welcome to the first in the Inspiration series of videos, where we look at how T&T Planning is helping people with a wide range of financial challenges to better understand their money and their financial future. In this video, we look at the example of Izzy, who's recently left university. Izzy feels that her main financial challenge is how to get engaged and motivated by her money when, like a lot of people her age, she feels like she's standing at the bottom of a very tall ladder with not too many rungs. So from the homepage, let's have a look at the starting information that she has already input. Name and date of birth, she's 23 years old. She's recently started a job at a salary of $28,000. She has £300 in the bank. She owes $32,000 on a student loan and £3,000 on a variety of credit cards. She wants to update some of the assumptions that have been made for her by the plan, and she starts with her basics. She's happy with her matched employer pension contributions. Not going to worry too much about a state pension at the moment. She doesn't have anything to put in here. She thinks that the minimum cash balance at the bank is a bit optimistic at the moment, so she changes that to £250, and she has already put her date in for her student loans, so that works. Next, she goes to her choices and the plan structure. She changes her phase A to 27 years and her phase B to 15 years, so she stops working here at 65. The next thing she wants to look at are her earnings, so she goes to her earnings choices. She thinks this is a little bit pessimistic. The plan's assuming a 1% real change in her salary each year, so she changes this target to 50,000. She also knows that she can use her phase B as a plateau for her earnings, so she goes to earnings life phase B, changes to option 2, which means that she uses the stable figure here rather than the constant growth figure, and she changes that to the maximum figure in phase A, £50,000. So just to recap, she's created a profile for her real earnings, excluding inflation, that rise consistently over 27 years to a target of 50,000 at the end of phase A, where they then level off for 15 years until she plans to stop working at age 65. And she can see how this has been included in her income graph 1, with her phase A rising there to 50,000 and then leveling off during her phase B. She's now curious to see what happens if she takes some more investment risk that's been assumed by her plan. So she checks on graph 4 to see how much money is left at the end of her plan, and sees a figure in the region of £170,000. She goes back to choices and her investment returns, and all she does is increase that nominal return by 1% in each life phase, 5 to 6 and 4 to 5. Now when she returns to her graph, she can see that she's now got a maximum investments of in excess of 600,000, and the shape of her available money has changed completely, and instead of about 170, she's just got more than 400,000 left at the end of her plan. If she flicks up to graph 1, she can also see the dark grey here with her investment returns, and she can see that her money is working a lot harder in the later stages of her plan following that change. Her changes have given Izzy some surplus money to play with, so she decides to revisit the assumptions made for her in lifestyle spending and see what she can now afford to spend. In the phases A and B, she can use the disposable income numbers here to guide her as to what could be affordable. She decides, however, to just change her phase C spending to a much more comfortable 30,000, as we see here. Izzy now visits her graphs to check where she is with her plan. She sees her earnings and plan structure choices in graph 1 that shows her total income and how her income in phase C is coming from a mixture of investment returns, state pension, and the balance that she needs being taken from her tomorrow savings. Her lifestyle spending amounts are shown in graph 2, including the £30,000 that she's just changed, along with her spending on tax and her savings for tomorrow. In graph 3, she can see that her investments peak at just above £600,000 at the end of phase B, and she can see how in the first 10 years of her plan her investments grow slowly, but then how patience pays off as compound interest gets to work in later years. She also sees how some of her student loan is being repaid, with the balance being written off after 30 years, which explains the spikes that we can see in graphs 1 and 2, as removing this debt increases the amount of her net assets. Her graph 4 is positive, meaning her plan is viable with available money in each year once she has quickly paid off her credit cards. To make sure she makes a good start and is moving in the right direction, she goes to her 3-year targets, where she can see her inflation-adjusted short-term targets each year for earnings, spending, saving, and investment performance. Izzy goes back to her list of choices just to remind herself of the choices she has, and identifies 4 of them that are really driving a plan at this stage of her life. Namely, her plan structure, in other words, how long she plans to be working and earning, her earnings profile, her investment returns, and her lifestyle spending. Having set up a plan, she can now play with any of those elements to see the effects of, for example, earning more or working less. Izzy knows that she cannot hope to predict the next 70 years of her life, but at age 23 she's starting to understand the big picture of how her money and her plan works. Building her plan has helped her to know what sort of questions she should be asking. She's seen how a very modest change in investment returns can make a large difference to her money over the long term, and is now motivated to understand more about investment risk and find the investment solutions that are right for her and her plan. She feels more engaged with the money and is now determined to keep her plan regularly updated as her life keeps changing. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it's been useful and it has inspired you to think about your financial challenges and to create your very own TNT plan.